Hey guys, it's Ellie. Welcome back to Bite-Sized Book of Mormon. I'm glad to have you with me. So, if you've never been here before, this is just a podcast where we read through one chapter of the Book of Mormon each episode, and I give a little bit of context, a little bit of insight, a little bit of good times. So, stick around. So, if you remember last episode, we read Mosiah chapter 5, in which King Benjamin kind of listens to the reactions that his people had to his address, and he's like, frick yeah, guys, make covenants with God. This is awesome. Like, you are taking upon yourselves the name of Christ. This is amazing. So yeah, very good chapter. Listen to that if you haven't already. But yeah, I think without further ado, we get into Mosiah chapter 6. And now King Benjamin thought it was expedient, after having finished speaking to the people, that he should take the names of all those who had entered into a covenant with God to keep his commandments. And it came to pass that there was not one soul, except it were little children, but who had entered into the covenant and taken upon them the name of Christ. And again it came to pass that when King Benjamin had made an end of all these things, and had consecrated his son Mosiah to be a ruler and a king over his people, and had given him all the charges concerning the kingdom, and also had appointed priests to teach the people, that thereby they might hear and know the commandments of God, and to stir them up in remembrance of the oath which they had made, he dismissed the multitude, and they returned, every one, according to their own families, to their own houses. And thus ends the saga of King Benjamin's address. Which was chapters long and amazing, just packed full of doctrine and good principles and teaching moments, and oh my goodness, it was very good. So now, Mosiah is officially the king, so King Benjamin is now just Benjamin. So now he can kind of step down and chill out and live a nice little retired life. I don't know how old he is, I don't know if he has like 10 more years left or just like 2, who knows, but he should take a break, chill out. But what stuck out to me in these first 3 verses is where he appoints priests to teach the people at the same time that he consecrates King Mosiah as king. And the priests are there to teach the people that they might hear and know the commandments of God. So these priests aren't really there to teach the people anything new, because obviously they know the gospel, but they are there to help the people hear and know. So they're there to help them increase familiarity with, so that they really don't just know about, but really know the commandments themselves. But also, they're there so that the people can hear the commandments, because sometimes it's the repetition, it's the constant reminders, it's the constantly, reading your scriptures and understanding the commandments that really helps you grow as a disciple. And so I think they're also there just to help people remember and to help them hear the commandments of God, because I think that's an underrated step of being a disciple, is just hearing the commandments, knowing what we're supposed to do, and not only knowing what we're supposed to do, but knowing why we're supposed to do it. So understanding that and constantly having it reminded to you is a very powerful thing, and that is what these priests are for, and I think that's pretty cool that the people of King Benjamin, and now King Mosiah, have that as a resource. And Mosiah began to reign in his father's stead, and he began to reign in the 30th year of his age, making in the whole about 476 years from the time that Lehi left Jerusalem. And King Benjamin lived 3 years, and he died. Well, that's how many years King Benjamin had left. He had 3. My guess of 2 was not that far off, I will say. Haha. And it came to pass that King Mosiah did walk in the ways of the Lord, and did observe his judgments and his statutes, and did keep his commandments in all things whatsoever he commanded him. And King Mosiah did cause his people that they should till the earth, and he also himself did till the earth, that thereby he might not become burdensome to his people, that he might do according to that which his father had done in all things. And there was no contention among all his people for the space of 3 years. I'm not sure exactly the number of people that King Mosiah is leading. I don't know if it's thousands or millions. I have no idea. It's probably not millions because, I don't know, probably not millions. But the fact that they had no contention for 3 years in their whole kingdom, that is a huge accomplishment. And I think it's just that these people are still kind of riding off that high of King Benjamin's address, and they're still, kind of fresher in their minds, the excitement and fervor that they had after listening to that, to follow the commandments of God, and therefore be peaceable people. I think that's still kind of wearing off. Hopefully it doesn't wear off, but, it's still kind of fresh in their minds. And the thing about the Book of Mormon is that every single time that there becomes a new king, or that you get a new leader, you kind of have to see if they're righteous or not, Because, it's very easy for one king to be wicked, and then the entire, civilization goes wicked, and it's a terrible time. Like King Noah, bad guy, no questions asked. But it's good then that King Mosiah is righteous. And what really stuck out to me is that in the last verse, he said that he had his people till the land, but also that he tilled it himself, that he wouldn't be a burden on the people. And I guess it makes sense when your entire job, when your entire life is governing these people, you have to be supported in some way, and so that money probably has to come from the people, or that might have been the norm for kings at the time. But King Mosiah and his father before him, King Benjamin, didn't do that. They really wanted to focus on being there for the people. The people were before them. And that really says a lot about their character and how they think about their service. In fact, they think about their kingship as service and not as governing or leading. And so it's cool that King Mosiah had the strength of character to, get dirty and work with his people and be one of them and not sit high above them in some, high fancy palace. That says a lot about a person. And I feel like if we were put in that position of so much power, it would be so much easier for us to just take a little bit of tax from the people just to support ourselves, just so we can get kind of what we want without having to do any other work besides our governmental duties. I feel like if I was put in that position especially, I would definitely lean towards doing that because it would be so easy, But it takes a certain strength of character to not. So the standout verse for this chapter is going to be verse 2, which says, "And it came to pass that there was not one soul, except it were little children, but who had entered into the covenant and taken upon them the name of Christ." That shows how deeply King Benjamin's address pierced the hearts of the people. Every single one of them that was in attendance, which is presumably all of his people because he invited everyone, and it sounds like there were, thousands of people there because not even everyone could hear his voice. But everyone was affected by it to the point where they wanted to make a covenant with God and take his name upon them. Everyone was that moved. I don't know, it's just a testament, another testament after the many testaments that we've had of the power of King Benjamin's words and the power of his character and the power of his teaching and the spirit that he holds. He's a great dude, and he will be missed. But now we have King Mosiah, who is also great because he came from King Benjamin. So we shall see what King Mosiah does with the Nephite people, shall we? But yeah, I think that's it for this episode. It was a pretty brief chapter, but it was very packed with good things because it was more of the people of King Benjamin just being righteous and just reveling in their righteousness and just finding joy in that. And it's so amazing to read. And yes, there's just a few links down in the show notes. The first 3 are different digital copies of the Book of Mormon. So if you don't have your own copy, read along with those. You cannot hide from the Book of Mormon. It will always find a way to be accessed. There's also a let me know you learned link, so if you want to shoot me a message there, you can. I will see it. There's also quick support the show links. If you want to shoot me a few bucks, that is also an option. And finally, we're on YouTube, so if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, to listen to the podcast, or to look for extra content, who knows, then you can go ahead and click there. So thank you again for being here. I love having you around, listening to my incomprehensible rantings about the Book of Mormon. And yeah, I'll talk to you later. Bye.